Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Monica Shepard. I'm joined by Dax Padman.
Hello.
Boy, you know, one of the stars of our favorite TV show is on today.
Oh, we love it.
Adam Devine.
He is divine.
Well, you know what they say is Adam Devine is delicious. Is that what they say?
No, they probably say he's divine.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't need to say delicious if your name's already Devine.
Right.
You know him from so many things. He's an actor, a comedian, a screenwriter, a producer, and a singer. He's the co-creator of the Comedy Central series Workaholics, Pitch Perfect, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, and of course, our favorite show, The Righteous Gemstones. Is he brilliant on that or what?
He is.
He's also got a new film coming out on October 11th called Jexi. You may ask yourself, how does one spell Jexi? Well, it's Jexi, Jexi. I don't know why. That would have been driving me crazy if I didn't know how to spell Jexi.
Oh, you just wanted people to be in the know.
OCD type people like me who would have ruminated on how are they spelling Jexi?
I guess I would have expected it to be Jexie, so great.
Okay, great. So, but it's Jexi.
Great.
We're
all better off knowing that.
We love everyone. We hope you have a blast listening to Adam Devine. One little reminder, we've added a second show to Nashville. We'll be in Nashville Saturday, November 2nd. We're going to be putting on a second show for everybody, so tickets are on sale. Go to our website, www.armchairexpertpod.com, and you'll get a ticket link there. So please come see us in Nashville. It's going to be a big party. Enjoy Adam Delicious.
Ugh.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
The healthier I get, the more sensitive I am to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty goddamn healthy now.
You're really healthy now.
I'll have a waffle or something, and then the next day I feel like I did an 8-ball.
I feel like I'm probably, in the last few years, the healthiest I've ever been.
Okay.
But if I eat like a cheeseburger, my body just falls apart.
It does. And what kind of symptoms will you experience?
My buddy has like a pizza night every week at his house. And he like makes his own
got like a
dough
little
and like has his own pizza
Artisanal?
oven and stuff. He's awesome at it, but we go over every Sunday and I gain 7 pounds.
Sundays.
Every Monday morning I weigh myself and I'm 7 pounds heavier.
Okay. Now, clearly you're exaggerating, but also you might not be, because my water fluctuation, I'll weigh myself before I go to bed, and I quite often lose 4 pounds at night through peeing. Are you getting up to pee yet? What are you, 36?
35.
You're 35. So you're...
Sometimes. It's not an every night event.
It's not.
No.
Okay, I'm every night, bad nights 3 times, and I'm furious. I'm so mad, and then I can't go back to sleep. This has led to a thing on here.
Yes.
I am seriously, you'll think this is a bit, but I'm sincere. I'm considering training myself to go in diapers again, because my sleep is more important than fucking whether or not I wear diapers. If I could just sleep through all that, I feel like I would be much happier and healthier.
Sure. How does your wife feel about that?
She seems fine with it. I
Really?
mean,
you pissing yourself next to her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look,
She has a low bar, so you know.
also, you've been with your gal 4 years now?
Yeah.
Okay, you're still together. Okay, great. So we're 12 years. I'm predicting for you in about 20 months, you'll just become this orb in her life. You won't really have any features or attractive anything. You'll just be this force around her, which is where I'm at. Like, people will say, like, I've gotten in good shape for movies, and they'll go like, oh, I bet Kristen like that. And Kristen has no idea whether I got in shape or gained 30 pounds, just oblivious to it.
I feel like Chloe also doesn't care if I'm in the best shape or just a fat trash heap. Like, she doesn't care.
Oh, isn't that nice?
That's
Yeah.
love, you guys.
It's great.
called love.
I think when I gain weight, she's like, oh, okay, then she can eat worse. Like, she feels better about doing that.
Sure. Well, that's
Like
kind of what
that.
happens in relationships, right? Like, you meet each other and you're both hot, and then you're spending more time on the couch, just cozying up.
Oh, I
and
was not
ordering
hot
food.
when we first met.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I was like the fattest I've ever been, which I'm like that. I'm glad that I met her in my plumpest state.
Yeah, sure.
Because-
You're most rotund.
Yeah, and then like I started dating her, and then I got in great shape for a movie and tried to keep it. Impossible to keep it.
You can keep it, but boy, the quality of life really goes into the basement, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, like to eat almost no carbs and all that. It's rough, right?
I don't like
Also
it.
has an effect on my boners. Did you, when you got in shape, did you go like high protein, low carb?
Yeah, for the most part.
And did you notice any?
My boners were okay.
They were solid.
Yeah, my
Again,
boners
you
were-
were 33 at the time, probably, right?
Wait a few more years and
Yeah.
I won't be able to eat that way and maintain erections.
No,
Is that
see,
what you're saying?
Actually, though, when I did it, I was about the age you did it. So I was 32 when I did it for this movie Kristen and I did. Sunday through Thursday was glycogen depletion. So almost no carbs, right? And then Thursday into Friday night was carb loading. And I would be a noodle all week. And then I'd eat like 2 boxes of Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, that
and
seems
then
like a
I
great
would be
diet.
hard as a rock. Out of nowhere, not even necessarily horny, just I would be engorged.
But you have to do something with it.
You absolutely
I
slam
done-
it in a
yep.
door. Okay, good. So you're not wrestling with any of those issues.
No,
that I
not
did.
yet. No.
You're a virile young man, and I envy you. In general, how does your body feel? Not to the touch from the outside, but for you personally.
Yeah, it's squishy but firm. You can tell there's a layer of muscle underneath.
I'm so
I
envious
feel
of
like
that.
when dad bods got popular a couple years ago, when girls were like, I just like a dad bod. And like that was like memes on the internet. I'm like, thank God my time has arrived.
Not a second too
Because
soon.
I look like an athletic dad.
You do.
Yeah.
You look. Do you remember? Well, you're too young
Well.
probably, but did you ever? First of all, you look great.
Yeah, you
Let
look
me
great.
say
Well,
that.
thanks. Thank
Look
you.
great.
I mean, truthfully,
Thank you.
look really good.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah.
The truth.
One of my favorite looks is Al Bundy season 1 of Married with Children.
Sure.
Or your father on A Righteous Gemstones.
John
John
Goodman.
John Goodman,
Mm-hmm.
in the early years of Roseanne, like you could see the football base.
Yeah.
He was a football player and there was a ton of mature muscle under there.
Yeah, a lot of
And then some padding. I
hard
like that.
striations.
Yes, dense, mature
Dense.
muscle. And so I just kind of like that look where it's like, oh, that guy used to be a hell of an athlete and now he's comfortable.
That's exactly what I'm working out for now is so when I do have kids down the road, their friends will be like, oh, I bet your dad used to be in shape.
That's the only goal.
Yeah.
It's just-
I bet he used to be in really good shape.
Okay, I had never met you, to my knowledge.
I don't think so.
I was co-hosting the Today Show,
Yeah.
or some hour of it. I'm probably inflating what I did. There's
The
just
Today
3
Show's
hours.
like 4 or 5 hours long.
Okay, all right. So I was on like the back end of that, whatever that time
That's the
slot
money hour. After everyone's gone home, everyone's gone off to work.
is. Sure, shift change. It's
Yeah.
a great time. Yeah, so I was co-hosting it, and you were a guest.
Yeah. It was cool that you were doing that. I like doing those shows. Like, for the most part, like those Today shows, like, it's fun. I love when my mom calls me and she's like, oh, my friends just saw you on the Today Show. I'm like, that's cool.
I could not agree more. I'm not even sure I was aiming to be an actor, but I knew I really wanted to be on Letterman. Like, I wanted to be on a late night talk show more than I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live or anything. Can you relate to that at all?
Yes, I remember I wanted to be on Saturday. And that was like my thing I really wanted to do. But talk shows, I remember like when people that I thought were funny actors and would go on talk shows and were trying to play it cool or like not being fun. I'm
Yeah.
like, they lied to
Why?
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they being like this?
Yes.
Yeah. So I always was like, you gotta just go for it. And that's why I love like Chris Farley when he would go out on he only did a few talk shows before he passed away. And he would go and do cartwheels and like jump on
Tear the place up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was fun.
Or Will Ferrell. Like, I think some of his best performances in movies and or Saturday Night Live are on like Conan or these other talk shows where
sure.
he wrote it out. He's in a character.
Yeah. Did you like hosting the Today Show?
I did. I actually did. I did like it. You know what I like about it? And I'm sure you've experienced this in many different ways, but when you can feel the malleability of time, that time passes differently in different situations.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by that because that was an hour-long show that we hosted. And to me, it felt like 7.5 minutes
For sure.
because it's just flying.
And
all of a sudden,
so
you're like,
many
"It's
bits
done?"
to run through and different segments to pitch to.
It's like working in a restaurant when it's like slammed. You're just like, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh my God, 2 hours flew by. I don't know why. I just enjoy when it warps like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like I always would like to do something like that. Like what you did, like a guest hosting spot.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I would like to have my own Today's Show, like to be the new Matt Lauer with the button and all.
Sure. 2 buttons.
Yeah. Well, I would have more buttons. I don't know why he stopped there. But like to be the new guy.
1 button, that's a problem.
Yeah,
3 buttons, that's James Bond.
He's fun. This guy likes to party. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I could handle doing that every day. Like, because what's fun about our jobs is like, it changes all the time.
Yes.
Like you go and you do a show, but that's only for a few months of the year. And then you could go off and do movies, or I do stand-up, or you do the podcast, and you can do all different kinds of things. But I'm like, every day showing up at like 4 a.m. and being chipper every morning.
Yeah.
And you can never have like any real opinions on things. You're just,
It's true.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the mindset, like I just love to do. I want to like look back when I'm old and be like, oh, I did a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I did all the stuff.
I ate
like when I hosted
everything-
the MTV Movie Awards, it was like I remember I was on tour doing stand up, and I was on my tour bus, and I remember got the call, and I was just silent for like 30 seconds, and my agents were like, "Is this a good silent?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So excited. And I was excited, but like,
Were you scared as well?
it was nerve wracking because
Oh,
I was
yeah.
shooting a movie. I finished this tour and then went right into a movie. So I had no time to I had like 2 weeks to be in the writer's room to figure out what we were doing.
Yeah.
So like I had this whole like song and dance number dressed as the Beast at the opening of the movie awards. And I had like 3 hours to learn the song the day before.
Aye.
Hey.
And so, yeah, it was like trial by fire, but it's fun when you put yourself in that situation. Like I only got it right all the way through one time.
Uh-huh.
And then the next day we didn't have time to run the whole thing. We just did it and it worked.
Yeah. I kind of compare it to talking to a girl you don't know. Something happens to my adrenaline that kicks my brain into a gear that just I can't access unless I'm trying to impress a girl. That's when it's at its best, traditionally over my life. And so also the stakes of failing on TV, that also can kick me into that hyper zone where I don't really know how to access without the stakes.
Absolutely. I think that's why SNL performers have that extra gear.
Yeah.
And why so many of them have gone on to be so successful, because it is something about like being in front of a crowd. You've been there, right?
I've been there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've watched the show. Or
Yeah,
two.
and it's like, it's pretty small. Like that's a small crowd, but then you realize there's,
But that stage, when I saw it in real life, it gave me the chills when I looked at it.
oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not religious, but I feel like that's what would be standing in St. Peter's or something if
yeah,
I
the
was
comedy gods opened
Yeah,
up.
I was
on-
just like, my goodness. I stared at the psych that they come out of, and I was like, God, I just started thinking of everyone I've seen walk out there and do that monologue. And it just,
it's cool too, like when you do, I would love to host, but when you like see places like that, and then you see the Tonight Show or Kimmel or whatever, and like things that you've kind of grown up watching, and
yeah.
and then you see how tiny it is when you're actually there.
I've had the exact same experience. It's always the same reaction, like, holy shit, this place is tiny.
Yeah.
With the exception of Letterman's old studio and now Colbert's. That's a pretty big place. You've done Colbert,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and I was able to do Letterman before he retired.
Oh, you
too.
did?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
that's
like it was like
great.
6 months before he retired. I was so excited.
Oh,
And then he leaned over after our segment, and he was like, "I'm a big fan of Workaholics. I've seen every episode."
oh.
And
Wow.
I'm like, my brain just melted.
Yeah.
And then I like really wanted to talk to him about it, but the guy was already dragging me away, going this way. And I'm like, but he said nice things to me.
Well, what we do when we write it.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
wasn't
sure, you mean
curious
like
about-
every show? Yeah. You sit around a table together? Oh, okay. Interesting.
I could have leaned over
Do you
and
remember
kissed
that
him.
like really old man who told you it was time to go? I guess he'd been there for like, he's the guy that like taps you to walk out.
Oh, yes.
Every one of they have somebody that does that.
Yeah, like a stage manager type person.
Yeah, and Letterman's guy, I guess, had been there since like someone told me he's like there since Carson. They're like, oh, he's been there. Maybe someone was lying to me. It's just someone's nice grandfather that was working for the day. But this guy has been there forever, and he goes now as like to go and to like he touched me, and then I acted scared. I was like, oh, like just
To fuck with
them. And then he goes, now, like it really was time to go. And I'm like, oh man. And I stepped out, and you have to take a hard right turn.
Yeah.
And I walked right into the pool. I walked right into this pool, and the camera caught me right as I'm ricocheting off this pole. And so my family and friends were like, what were you doing, like a fun dance when you walked in? Or what was...
Yeah, did it read as a bit?
It read like it read just like I'm coming in,
crazy.
walking all goofy. But in fact, I just rocked myself.
Wow.
Have you ever shit the bed on a talk show or?
I did not well on Conan once. I wouldn't say I shit the bed,
Okay.
but I remember like a joke kind of fell flat, and then like I tried to say live from New York at Saturday Night Live for in like a bit, and I said live from Saturday night, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I tried to say a word, and it just came out wrong, and he's like, oh, you're not really on today, are you? And I'm like, no, Conan, I'm not. But I've been on it. I've been on Conan like 8 times now, so I think he trusted that it was an off day. Just some days it's just
Sure.
a little cloudy up there.
So I'm sure you're sick of telling it, but I also don't think anyone could possibly understand you without this story, which is when you're a little kid, you're about to cross the road pushing your bicycle,
Yeah.
and what happens? You don't win the lottery.
And someone popped out of the manhole cover. The turtles are real. No, I was walking across the street.
This is in Omaha?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, you're born in Iowa, but you moved to Omaha.
I'm born in Waterloo, Iowa, and lived there until I moved to Omaha when I was 10. And so I'm 11 now. I've been there about 6 months. It was the summer going into 6th grade. I made a few new friends, and we're going to the convenience store. And my buddy was across the street, and he was yelling, come on. And I took that as the coast is clear, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But what he just meant, come on, let's go to the convenience store. I'm a child. I want to eat candy.
Yeah, I'm impatient.
And I grew up in the suburbs, so like new houses were being built every day. And so 3 cementers are going up the hill and 2 are coming down at the exact same time. And so after the 3rd one passed going up the hill on my side of the street, I walk out with my bicycle and was hit by the cement truck coming down the other side.
At 11 years old.
At 11, taken under the wheel, spit out, broke everything from my waist down besides my right femur, and then crushed everything from the knees down and took all my skin off.
You were in a coma for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You had a collapsed lung.
Yeah.
Everything's broken below the waist.
Yeah.
And they're probably talking amputation.
My parents did a good job of like shielding me because I didn't, they're not coming up to an 11-year-old boy going, they're going to take your legs. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Take a good look at your legs.
Okay. They're going to take them.
At 3 p.m., you won't have them anymore.
There's a 30% chance that they're gone. So just so you know. But they were saying they're probably going to have to take them. Then they're going to have to take one, then just my right heel.
Okay.
And then it ended up being I got to keep both legs. And
how long are you in the hospital?
I was in the hospital for almost 2 months, I think 6 or 7 weeks, something like that.
And what is your reaction to being there? Do you feel stupid that happened? Do you feel grateful you're alive? Do you feel scared you're never going to walk?
I was on so many drugs.
That was going to be one of my questions.
That
sincerely.
it was I was just floating. I was just there.
Sure.
And I was still just I'm 11 years old, so I'm still like a kid, and it hurt a lot. Even with all the drugs, I knew that this is painful, and I'm in traction, and there's pins through my knees and that are holding them up.
Yeah.
And every adult in my life is standing over me, just crying, just staring at me, crying. I'm like,
that would be
I guess this is real. I've never seen. My dad is a tough guy.
What does he do, or what did he do?
He just retired. He was a conductor for the railroad for 35 years. Never saw him cry.
Right.
And then he's just shaking and bawling, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, pussy. No. And so that's when I knew it was real.
Yeah.
Do you have a memory of that actual experience, or does it just feel
No, I don't remember what happens when you have a traumatic event like that. My body went into shock, and I can't remember a few hours beforehand, and then 2 weeks afterwards because I was in a medically induced coma.
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
What if it was later discovered you had murdered someone in that
2 hours before?
2 hours before. And you were actually running.
Good movie idea, Dax.
So, and then what follows is 26 surgeries?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking
my
A.
God.
Over how many years?
By my freshman year of high school. So like 26 within that time.
Right.
And then I busted my knee a handful of times since then.
How did you do junior high? Were you homeschooled during that period, or were you going in a wheelchair?
Was homeschooled for half of my 6th grade year, and then I went in a wheelchair. In hindsight, it actually worked out for me because like they had an announcement at school, like it was in the bulletin, like parents were talking to their kids to like be nice to me.
Oh.
I'm the new kid. Like no one knew who I was before starting school there.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I go and now everyone knows who I am and everyone's being pretty nice to me, even though kids can be dicks. But like,
sure. Well, I would have been the kid that was like, started maybe being nice to you, and then I would have seen how much attention you were getting. I would have got jealous, and then maybe I would have had to take a shot at you.
Yeah, there was some of that for sure. I ran into a few of you.
But, no, I don't think I would.
But I think that's like kind of why I got into comedy, because up until then, like I'm a kid, but I was like, I'm a jock, I'm an athlete, I'm gonna be a professional baseball player. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was
you need
like,
a new identity. Basically,
I couldn't do
at
anything.
11.
And then anytime anyone would like make fun of me, my dad's like, you can't get in a fight, so you got to punch them back with your words. Like, think of some funny things to say back to them.
Right.
So I would go home and I'd write in notebooks like possible mean things
Oh my god.
that people could say to me and retorts. So I just had like notebooks and notebooks full of slams on these kids. And so I would just annihilate them. And then no one could beat up the kid in the wheelchair who can't defend himself. So it really...
It's not a super tough look.
Yeah.
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 But by the time you get to high school, you're now done with the wheelchair, or were there periods as well in high school?
No, I was done with the wheelchair. I busted my knee again, like playing basketball, but that was back on crutches and then off the crutches.
Okay, so with all these surgeries, 26, you're on opiates and stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
On and off them. Mm-hmm. What was your relationship with, like, did you come to like them? Did you come to look forward to them? Did you hate them?
I hated them.
You hated them?
Yeah. I don't like the feeling of not having my wits about me.
Right.
And I feel like those painkillers just dumb you down and slow everything down and make you not feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to be the dumbest guy in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Although normally I am. In real life I am. I need
don't
drugs
need opiates for this.
Yeah. I got this covered.
Did you at all have a sense of that pause had been hit on your life? When I was thinking about your situation, I was like, is this an adult perspective to feel this way? Or would you be aware of it as a kid, like, oh my God, I'm missing like the 3 years I would be most riding my bike, most going out and building a fort, all these things? Did you?
I feel like 11 is when you start to like stop doing stuff like that. At least
sure.
You know, like 11 is when you are like, no, I'm grown up now.
Right.
So like for me, I did a lot of that when I was younger, and I reverted back to like my youth. Instead of like all those kids were like sneaking off and like smoking cigarettes and like 12 and 13, starting to like steal their parents' vodka and like mixing it with their Gatorade.
Yeah.
I was just watching Ren and Stimpy.
Banging
and,
back oxycodone.
Yeah, just smashing my oxys. Just selling them for pogs.
Pogs.
And so like I really was just like a true kid again.
Yeah.
When everyone else was sort of growing up, I was just like watching. They gave me a free membership to Main Street Movies, which is our local like Blockbuster.
Oh.
You know, the local one, mom and pop shop. And they were like, as many movies as you want to rent for as long as you want to rent them.
Oh.
Wow.
So they gave that to us
Worth
for like
it.
3 years. And then they're like, okay.
You've
You're
seen
taking
all the
advantage of this.
So like I truly saw like every movie, and that's all I did was watch movies and watch comedy. And
you liked comedy the most?
yeah, comedy and action.
Okay, so you were born in 83?
Yep.
Okay, so 8 years. For me, it was all Fletch and Chevy Chase movies and all that, and early Bill Murray. But for you, who was it? Sandler?
It was Sandler and Farley. Yeah, that whole crew.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My buddy Kyle Newacek, who I did Workaholics with, he just directed Murder Mystery. And Sandler texted him and was like, hey, tell your boy Adam that I really liked your stand-up special, because they just had a stand-up special come out.
Right. What's the name
Adam
of it?
Devine's Best Time of Your Lives.
Yes, Adam Devine's Best Time. That's what you were
Get that
promoting when
in.
I met you at the Today Show.
Yeah, exactly.
In the 11th
And,
hour of the Today Show.
Yeah. And he was like, he liked it. And I'm like,
Done.
oh my God, just on the moon.
Yeah, of course.
Because, yeah, they were my guys.
And now you liked it so much. What age do you think, I'm going to somehow try to pursue this? Is that in college?
No, it was like really young, actually. Like I couldn't walk when I, 12, 13, and I started calling into the radio stations.
And you do impressions?
I would do different impressions, and I would do like Chris Farley and like a guy who's just stuck in traffic and everything pisses him off, and then some like dumb girl voice that I would do, and they like kind of caught on the radio. It was like part of their like afternoon hour. They were like, "Come down, we want to put you on every day. You could be part of our staff."
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, awesome. So my mom drives me down there, and I never talk to them not in character. I was always in character because I was afraid they'd get mad if they knew I was a little kid in a wheelchair. Right. And so I go and I'm in this wheelchair and I meet them. "Oh, you're a little kid in a wheelchair." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Sorry.
And they're like, "Well, you can't
employ you.
But if you keep calling in," they would give me free concert tickets and free CDs. And
so weirdly, there was a lot of lemonade out of
Some
this
perks.
lemon.
Yeah. There was
The video store, this gig on the radio.
Yeah. Well, it is like the type of thing of like, I'm glad it happened to me because I don't think I would have pursued this career at all.
Right.
Because my parents would have gone like, "You're moving where? We don't know anyone out there." No.
Yeah.
You're going to live here and work at the railroad like every other male member of this family.
Yes.
I'm really glad it worked out that way because...
Can you access your early Chris Farley?
No, my voice changed. I mean, it's just a little bit like this, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I remember when my voice changed. Like, for whatever reason, when I had a higher pitched voice, it was better.
Oh, okay.
Because then when I would lower it, it still was like that high pitch Chris Farley.
Yeah,
And I remember my voice changed on the radio.
Oh, really?
And I called in and my voice was cracking all the time. You know, I'm in like 7th, 8th grade. And I call in and
like, "Hey, Scoob."
Yeah, totally. And they were like, "No, this isn't Adam."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "It is." And they're like, "No, it's not." And I was so disappointed.
When do you discover you can sing? Do you start singing young?
No, that was just something I could always kind of do. Like, I still don't consider myself a great singer.
Okay.
I think I can pull off some songs.
Well, and this is going to be the cynical side of me, and not even regarding to you. But sometimes when I hear people sing, I think, can they just do an impersonation of a singer, or are they really singing? You know what I'm saying?
Like, when people are like, "Ooh, you're soulful," I'm like, I'm doing a James Brown impression.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I can't sing at all, but occasionally I can hit Waylon Jennings just because I'm imitating him, and I will find my way into tune just by being him, but I can't do it with my own voice. It's weird.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
One of the most impressive things I learned about you was that, now I've thrown the first pitch out at a game twice. That in itself is scary as fuck. It's virtually no win. Either you do it well and it's not going to make the news, or you baba booey it and then it's everywhere, right? There's no upside.
Yeah.
But that alone is so stressful. And the fact you sang the national anthem at a Dodgers game, fucking hard pass for me.
Oh, that was like one of the things where I'm like, I gotta see if I could do it. Because, you know, I'm gonna do it the best I can. I'm not gonna Roseanne it and like make a mockery of it. Like I will do my best. We'll see if that's any good.
Right. I've not heard a song more in my life that I don't know the words to.
Well, they're insane.
They are, right?
They're insane.
They're not real
it's
words.
Very old-timey.
I think I just learned this year that there are other verses of that song that get downright racist. Do you know this?
Oh, no.
Or am I
Really?
thinking of a different song?
I don't think you're thinking of the national anthem.
I feel like there currently would be uproar about that.
Well, I thought that's what was kind of brought out during the Kaepernick stuff was like, hold on, you want us to stand for this thing, got it, blah, blah, blah. But also, do you know the full song from the first time? Like they've cut out passages. I could be wrong. You'll fact check it.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
find
find
out.
out.
But I do think there's some
dig deep.
dicey stuff maybe in the back half of that song.
I didn't sing those. Yeah, I just found those verses and just sang that. We're taking this one old school.
Now, do you have a trick? Do you have like some mental gymnastics you do just prior to singing that song to steady yourself?
Well, my ex-girlfriend was a singer.
Madonna,
She was in
right?
Yeah, Ariana Grande. No. She was a singer, so she kind of coached me up a little bit. Left to my own devices, I would have butchered it.
Well, my
because
fear
you
would
have
be-
to start so low.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Because then it builds so high. If you start where you're comfortable singing,
you've got nowhere to go.
you got nowhere to go.
Ugh.
My thing is I try to be distracted until the second I'm doing something. Like when I do stand-up, I'm backstage, I'm talking with people, I'm messing around until they call my name. And then if I try to think about the material I'm about to do, I can't think of a single joke I'm about to do.
Right.
If I'm looking at my set list or whatever, I'll be like, none of these words make sense right before I'm about to go on. Like 15 minutes before, it all makes sense. But then in that moment, none of it does. And so I'm just like, I just got to think of something else and then it'll come back to me.
Now, I did stand up for a few years. Stand-up's a 10 for me, fear level right before you walk out. It is just like, oh man, there's nowhere to hide. There's no one to help me. A sink or swim. It is as high as...
I think that's like what I enjoy about it. I did my special, came out on Netflix, Adam Devine, Best Time of Our Lives. And I knew that material front and back. I've been doing those jokes for a while. Like, it's really polished. I know what I'm getting myself into. I know exactly how this can go. Nothing could throw me off.
Yeah.
And still, even before, like on that last run of shows, right before going on, you still get the jitters and are nervous and excited to get out there.
So you go to college, Orange Coast College? Is that what it was? Where's that at?
It's a community college. It's in Orange County. It's Costa Mesa.
Oh, so you moved here to go there?
Yeah, I moved when I was 18. I was going to go to UCLA, but it's super expensive. And so
out of state.
Yeah, out of state.
Yeah.
And so I was going to get some
transfer.
credits and get in-state tuition and then transfer up. And then I went down there and I met Blake and Kyle, Blake Anderson and Kyle Newacek, that I ended up doing Workaholics with day one of improv class in community college.
That's cool that they had an improv class.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like I think it's like the second largest community college in the country.
Oh.
There's like 50,000 kids that go to school
Jesus.
there.
So it's like Notre Dame.
Yeah. And so we met and I was like, oh, this guy with like the curly hair is like super funny. He had like a tight little cute afro. And I'm like, oh, he's so funny. And then Kyle was like a director and I'm like, oh, let's start making stuff together. So we did. And then
like you did in the MySpace era, right? You would post stuff there. And
we'd post stuff in MySpace. And then Kyle moved up to go to film school at LA Film School because he couldn't get into the film school at Orange Coast Community College.
Okay.
And so he moved up there and I moved up with him about a year later and I got a job at the Hollywood Improv, working the phones and doing the door and stuff. And then at that time, the Second City was next door and they shared a building.
Right.
And so I got half off classes. And so I'm like, oh, I'll start to take classes at the Second City. And being from the Midwest, like Second City was like a big deal. And so I started taking classes there and met Anders in improv class. And then we started making stuff.
And so based on the success of your videos, is that why Comedy Central agrees to do that?
It was like a mix of like, I did stand up for Comedy Central. Other like New Faces showcase called Live at Gotham. And so I was kind of on their radar. And then I told them about us as a group. And then a lower level executive just saw our stuff and kept tabs on us. And then we made a web series that ended up being very similar to Workaholics, and they called us in. We didn't even know that they had sent us a YouTube email, like a message like through our YouTube.
Okay.
And we never checked those. So
Right.
like for like 2 months, it was
What
just
if the
sitting
offer
there.
just kept going up?
Yeah. It's like, fine, $1 million. And so they honestly thought we were like big timing them. Which worked out in our favor.
Sure. That's a happy accident. How old are you when you started doing that show?
I got the call when I was 25 and then really started to work on it when I was 26. We didn't know what we were doing. Like we literally, Anders had written a few spec scripts, but like the rest of us hadn't written any spec. We would just write sketches.
Right.
And I
Whatever
would
you were
write
gonna
stand up, but we wouldn't write, spec scripts for TV. So we like literally were reading books on how to write for television as we were shooting the show.
Right. And was that part the hardest, the writing of it?
Yeah, I feel like the first season, like we had so much pent up creative energy that it was
like your first album, right?
Yeah, it was like awesome. It got harder like season 5. Oh, we've already done a thing like that. Or like you start to go down a road and you got stuck down that road before creatively. And you're like, so you don't even bother to go down it anymore when maybe you should have and you probably could have figured it out. But
yeah, it gets hard to feed that machine, right? With just storylines.
Yeah. I'm glad we did our 7 seasons, and Comedy Central wanted to take us through 9 or 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were like, no, we got to go.
We're worn
We're
out.
done. We're done with this.
2 of us are dead.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
talking to me in the
we're-
hospital.
We're no longer like young guys that are just drinking beers on the
Starving.
roof. Durs, Blake, and Kyle all have children.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you did that for 7 years.
It ended up being 7 seasons and 6 years, but we worked 7 years.
You did. And
Yeah.
like 9 months a year. Was there any breaks on that?
Yeah, there's 7 or 8 months of the year.
Uh-huh.
And then towards the end, like I was leaving to go do movies, so I would like come back in the writer's room for like 3 weeks and then have to leave and to go do XYZ.
Did they
But-
resent you for that or were they happy for you?
Yeah, I think they hate my guts. I'm meeting with them tonight, so I'll ask them. Yeah, I think for the most part that they're happy. I'm sure they were like, why the fuck are we in this room in Van Nuys where our office was when Adam is in glorious Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
Right. Staying at a very nice place.
Yes.
Pitch Perfect's kind of like the first big. Is that the first?
Yeah, I shot that between season 1 and 2.
Oh, so early.
Yeah, real early. And we had actually just finished shooting season 2, but season 1 had already been out.
Mm-hmm.
And season 2 was starting to come out while I was down there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was pretty crazy. It was crazy, like being in a college town when that show's coming out.
What type of person are you? How are you handling being on TV? How are you? Is your ego running away with you? Do you think you're like 6 months away from being Sandler? What kind of?
Yeah, I definitely never thought about like dips in the road. I am on a goddamn rocket ship.
I had a similar experience.
Yeah. But I think for the most part, you know, I was like always nice to people and everything like that.
By the way, regardless of what you say, the proof is in the pudding because basically when people have dips and they stick around, that's basically how you know someone's fun to work with.
Yeah.
Because the guys who take it on the chin and they were assholes, they're gone.
No, I absolutely think that. And it's like, I also know how many talented people are out there. Like I worked at the improv for years before getting any sort of shot. And so I saw all these like super funny guys and I saw how like people would get a big head and come in and then like 6 months later it's not working that well for them.
Yeah.
Or they get a show and now they think they're the hot shit and then that show ends up getting canceled and coming back into the club on a Tuesday with their tail between their legs. And so I had seen enough of that to not fully be a maniac. I always have to look at it like when I was a kid, if I told myself when I was like 15 or 16 years old, when I was first starting to truly dream about like this life, if I told myself that I got as successful as I currently am, I would be so stoked on the moon.
Couldn't agree more.
You always have to look at it like, of course, everything could be better, but it's still pretty great.
Yeah, my analogy is always, you're in the NBA. I'm not Michael Jordan, but by God, I've been playing in the NBA for a while. I don't want to miss that because I wasn't Jordan.
Exactly.
Okay, so Pitch Perfect though is a
I'm Bill Cartwright.
Yeah,
I'm just there getting the boards, and boxing people out.
I think I'm Robert Ory.
Okay.
I'm Robert Ory. He's a good time. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes he's great.
Clutch.
Sometimes
Yeah,
he
sometimes-
seems to not
sometimes
be
clutch.
Sometimes not paying attention.
Yeah.
But Pitch Perfect is a fucking massive hit, right? I've never been in a movie that was that successful.
Yeah, it was crazy because I didn't know like what I was getting myself into. I literally didn't read the sides before going to the audition. I just read Pitch Perfect. I thought it was a baseball movie, and that's not a joke. Like I thought it was a baseball movie.
I feel like there is a Matthew Lillard baseball movie called maybe Pitch Perfect with Freddie Prinze Jr.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I think, or something very
No,
close
it's
to that.
not Pitch Perfect, but there is
Perfect
one.
Pitch,
maybe.
Yeah. I'm joking like I don't know. It's Perfect Pitch, and it's my favorite film. No. Yeah, so I remember when I got the script and I went and did the audition. It went really well, and they offered me the role. And my agent was like, "You're doing it. There, you can't say no." But I was like waffling on the idea because I'm on like Workaholics, which is a cool culty.
You have street cred at the moment, comedic street cred.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know if doing a song and dance movie is the right move. And I gave it to my guys, and Anders read it and was like, "This is funny. I think you're going to be really funny in this. The movie sucks. It won't be on you, but you will be funny."
Right.
And then Blake was like, yeah. And then we were working late, and he comes into my office. He's like, "You can't do it, dude."
Oh
God.
no.
Yeah, and he's like, you'll tear down everything we're building. And I'm like, and so I have like this weight
geez.
on my shoulders where Blake thinks I'm gonna like ruin our collective careers.
Yes.
But I'm selfish and I took it.
Yeah, and I like money.
Yeah.
At this point, do you care about money?
Yeah, well, I mean, the crazy thing is like everyone's like, oh, Comedy Central, not making any money. But like I was making zero money.
Right.
I was just doing like commercials and stuff. So
Yeah.
like to go from like making nothing to making
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
Mhm.
where I have tens of thousands in the bank account. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is okay.
Fuck yeah.
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 And then, like I always relate it back to my parents and I tell them what I'm making to like say that that's not a lot of money is my dad would punch me in the nose.
Yeah. He'd put you on a railroad track and drive over you in a
for
train.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It was also awesome because all of my best friends, like we all lived in the Workaholics house together, all of us except for Durs.
Oh.
Durs like had a girlfriend that he's now married to and has 2 children with. But like me, Kyle, and Blake all lived together in that house.
Hold on a second. You lived in the house you shot in?
We shot it, yeah. So when
You just wake up and you're at work.
yeah, for the first season, and then Blake and I went and rented a big dumb house in the hills.
Mm-hmm.
But we're like, we got to be bachelors. There was like a sunken in fire pit with like shag carpet and leather walls.
Wow,
Yeah,
you really
it was
leaned
cool.
into
I hope
it.
you made love in front of that fire at least once.
At least once.
Okay, good. Good.
Me and Blake. Yeah, so it was fun, like making money like together.
Yeah.
And so that like we each went out and like bought a car on the same day.
That's fun.
Yeah. And we're all like, tomorrow we're all going to come in with a new car. And we all pulled in and we're like showing off our cars.
Like you're an entourage. Or
Yeah,
something.
totally.
So Pitch Perfect comes out. It's an enormous hit. I mean, a really, really big hit. And then there's a sequel. And then you do that how long after that? A year after maybe?
Year and a half, something like that. And then did that. And then it was really clicking because I was doing Workaholics. I had my own stand-up show called Adam Devine's House Party that I was able to curate and get the like new talent. It was sort of their Live at Gotham. It was their new or their premium blend.
Yeah.
And I was able to like bring up a bunch of funny young comics that I knew from working at the improv.
Right.
And at the same time I was doing that, I was doing Workaholics. Pitch Perfect was out. I'd just done Pitch Perfect 2, and then I started going on tour a lot and was doing like big theater tours.
Right. Now, is Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates? Is that your first opportunity to headline a movie?
Yeah.
And you're with Zac Efron. And you're like, this motherfucker can't not make money, right?
I'm like, he's printing it. Let me latch on.
But I would imagine you'd feel pretty safeguarded by that whole
And also
combination.
the whole like independent movies, you never know if people are going to see it or if it's going to come out in the theaters or where it's going to land. But I felt good going into this. Pitch Perfect 2 was coming out while we just got to Hawaii to shoot Mike and Dave.
Right.
I felt just on the moon. I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I got abs to look like Zac Efron's brother.
Yeah.
But like the protruding abs, the fat guy abs.
Yeah. The Harvey Keitel.
The Harvey Keitel abs.
Yeah.
So I was on the moon.
What do you get the fuck?
Oh
do you
my, Rob, we got to get a picture of this. Picture
I don't even know why
Justin's.
I pulled this out. I just
We
pulled
each we each have a pack of Justin's almond butter in our pockets.
Honestly, that is impossible that just happened. What 2 guys in LA right now are walking around with
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
packet
Apparently, many of them.
Is this the moment should we buy fucking Justin's stock? Did
Yeah,
we
we
just
gotta make
discover
the call.
everyone's eating it?
I love this stuff.
Let's call our guys
That's so
together
good.
on the air, our business managers.
Mine's too hot. It's too liquid. At this point.
No, I'm kind of. That's
you
why I
gotta
pulled
let it
out.
congeal.
Yeah, mine's at about 104 degrees right now.
I got a hot thigh.
For our misophonia listeners,
I
prepare yourselves.
I can't get over that. I thought he was pulling out some nicotine
I
or
thought you
something.
were pulling out your phone, but much better.
Just bored.
Yeah.
Here, I got to call my family.
I gotta wake up right now. I want to talk to my grandmother. She's hanging on by a thread. Wow. What a thing to share.
Now, peanut butter is such a good thing to eat while on a microphone.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It makes you sound like
We have a lot of
almond.
listeners who have misophonia, which is an irrational.
Well, it's not irrational. It's medical.
Okay, sure.
Well, they don't think it's irrational.
Hatred of mouth sounds. Yeah.
You know, it makes me like, it kind of makes me like talk like Owen Wilson right out of the gates.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's kind
I
of
see
like
that.
sticking you, you know, how's the nails like Bob got such a great kitchen?
Is yours peanut butter or almond?
Mine's almond butter.
Okay,
Mine's
yes,
almond butter.
Mine's honey.
Are you saying we use
honey.
Is yours regular or is it honey?
You're going to love this. I started the day with 3 of these in my pocket. I've already gone through 2 of them. One of them was honey and then 2 non-honey. That was how I treated myself.
wow.
But I didn't want to go all 3 honeys. How about yours?
I love the honey.
Okay, back to Hawaii. Because now, man, this is when I want to be you. I'm imagining you've got a fucking sweet hotel room wherever you're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any fire in your hotel room? And I'm being serious. Like, were there any torches or anything? Because I'm in my mind right now when I'm fantasizing about you being number 1 on the call sheet and having a fucking a pimp placed it. Was there like exposed fire anywhere?
No.
damn
It was just like a giant suite. It was
Okay.
nice. It was very nice. I just started dating my girlfriend, or maybe we'd been dating a little bit, but it was awesome. It was like where we like really fell in love with each other.
She came down.
She came down, and because it was such a fun place to come visit.
Yeah.
And she'd come down for a few weeks at a time, and we became friends. Like the whole cast and her all became friends together. And
Right. Are you a big drinker?
Mhm.
Yeah, you like it.
I do.
Yeah. So on those sets, you can really have a good time, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was great is we did. It was so fun. It was like just ran the whole hotel. Like there was like
Right.
multiple bars, and like we could just go in whenever. And there was like the beach bars, and they were so cool to us. And they were so great to us that I was trying to think of where to take my house party show.
Mm-hmm.
Because season 1 I did it in LA. Season 2 I took over a bar in New Orleans, and season 3 I took it to the North Shore, Hawaii,
Oh, you
and took
did?
over Surfer the Bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, so now let me just ask you, some mornings on that movie, a little rough?
That was
Or
pretty
could
good
you
about
rein it in on the week, on the school days?
Yeah, on the school days I'm pretty good about reining it in.
Like 6 drinks after work, but cap it there.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
great.
say that's probably about the number.
By the way, that's what I want. Like some alcoholics, they desire to be able to have a glass of wine. I'm like, I don't want that. I want to be able to get drunk. I
Yeah.
want 6. That would be a sweet spot for me. If I just like, I could get drunk.
I'd say like 4 to 6. 6 is when, because that's the tipping
Now
point
it's-
that you're drunk, and then you go like, maybe I'll be fine. If I get 5 hours of sleep, I'll be fine.
That fucking conversation where you you keep building an argument for why you only need 5, then 4, and then you're like, I'm fucked. Then it goes
Yeah.
straight to you can't even make an argument anymore.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, what did I do?
Oh boy. Okay, so you do that movie. It comes out. It does fine, right? It just does fine.
Yeah.
You probably had higher expectations.
I wanted it to be a huge hit. Yeah, I feel like if that movie was 4 or 5 years earlier, it would have done much better. And
It was really right at the beginning where just comedies start and slowly the air starts coming out of them.
Yeah.
At the movie theater. But of course, you don't know. You don't know that then.
What's crazy is if that movie were to come out right now and make the money that it did, people would be like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, big win.
well,
Yeah.
all right, comedy's back."
Yep.
Because it made like 17 or 18 million opening weekend,
Mm-hmm.
which is like
now would be
great because movies are coming out and making like 6
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and 7.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I've had a couple of them.
Yeah. So it sucks.
Yeah. But
So-
anything shy of this at that time, like you had to hit 20. 20
Yeah.
was like you've made a hit comedy at that time. And so you didn't hit that. And how do you take that? I mean, you luckily have the show still, right? At that point?
Yeah.
That's helpful, I would imagine.
I had the show, and I knew that wasn't going to be my only shot. Like I feel like it wasn't like my sole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I was going to at least have some other shots.
Right. So you were fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I definitely wanted it to be bigger. I wanted, like we were saying about you're building things up in your head and you're sort of planning the trajectory of where your career could go.
Yep.
As I'm like, oh, this movie's going to come out. I'm on the cover of Rolling Stone.
Uh-huh.
I'm the biggest movie star in
Yeah.
the world. and I sell out arenas.
Right.
Like that's where
Sure.
I'm dreaming that it goes. I mean, I had friends that like didn't go see it opening weekend, and like family members that like didn't go opening weekend.
Yes.
And I'm like, just go the opening weekend.
Oh, I had one. I was talking to my dad on like a Monday, and he goes, "Oh yeah," and it was just a fucking terrible movie. I can't remember what it was, but some movie no one should go see, like Luc Besson's worst movie or something. He's like, "Yeah," he said, "Boy, that I saw that good movie," and I go, "Yeah. Is that what you saw this weekend?" Like, I had a movie come out. He actually went to the movie theater and didn't see my movie. He saw fucking.
That is so
some
funny.
punch him up, kick him up film with some older man in it. Yeah, that was something.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Okay, I want to go to The Righteous Gemstones because we've watched the first 6 episodes.
Oh, cool.
Oh man.
Wow, the music's so fucking great.
Yeah.
The scope of it's so big. Like Danny directed the fuck out of that thing. It is so good. Monica and I
thanks.
are.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we do not say this lightly. We are obsessed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. It is unbelievable.
I mean, that was like, I watched Foot Fist Way with my girlfriend last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the first time?
No, it was
Oh,
like my
okay.
8th time, but she had never seen it before. And she's like, this is so funny.
Oh.
And then her next sentence was, this movie would never get made today. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It absolutely wouldn't. But
Yeah.
Danny was just such a hero to me. I put him on the pedestal with like Will Ferrell and like,
Oh, yeah.
he was like a god. And I remember I met him at a party. We had a small bit in Neighbors, the first Neighbors. We were the guys that invented beer pong.
Uh-huh.
And me and the Workaholics guys. And so we were at the after party and everybody's there. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. Like, look, it's all these guys from the movies that we know. Danny comes around and grabs my other shoulders like, oh, hey, I know you. And I'm like, holy shit, you're Danny McBride. And he goes, yeah. And I go, you're a bright shooting star. What? You're a bright shooting
Wow.
star is what I said.
Wow.
I think I was a little fucked up, honestly.
Sure.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to be described as.
Yeah. And he goes,
Yeah.
okay, man.
That's a hard compliment to take.
Yeah. And then I just grabbed my girlfriend. I'm like, we got to get out of here. I just called him a bright shooting star. We have to leave right now.
Yeah, so how did you, first of all, not only is the show just a 10 on all levels, the fact that it's serialized and genuinely serialized, and I really want to know what
Yeah.
happens next, I love. And then you are spectacular
Oh
in
my
it. You are
God.
really, really fucking perfect in it.
So good. So good.
Yeah. Thanks.
You are holding your own with him in every way, and you're so funny. I'm dying to know. I mean, clearly I think you're gay, but maybe there's another layer going on that I don't even understand yet. The guy, who is the fucking guy who's in love with you? That's one of
Tony Cavallero.
Okay, that is one of the greatest. Maybe I'm just out to lunch on him. I must be, but what a casting choice.
Yeah, he's so great. He was like on School of Rock, like the Nickelodeon. He played like the Jack Black character in School of Rock.
Okay.
He was a Groundlings guy, and so he's like been in that
I
world.
should know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed.
But he's super funny.
I'm like, is this a real person? I love when I think, oh, maybe Danny knew this guy at a convenience store and he somehow convinced him to act. You know,
what's
one of those
cool
kinda-
is like he looks insane. His hair, his
God.
haircut's
He
insane.
looks crazy.
And then he's like a buddy. He's like the guy that I do most of my scenes with. So like I'm buddies with him. When we were shooting the show, we lived like a few blocks away from each other. So we'd like grab lunch or like we would like work out together. Like I bought weights and we'd work out in my backyard.
Oh, I love it.
It was hard to like scrub off his satanic tattoos.
Oh,
Because they're
Oh,
like
boy.
they just like stick to you.
Yeah,
So it's like hard to get them off all the time. So half the time they're just faded looking. And so like I remember we're working out in the backyard and he's not wearing a shirt and I'm like, you look absolutely insane right now.
yeah.
You're covered in like 666 across your chest, upside down crosses.
Oh man.
And he's like the sweetest, nicest guy.
Yeah, he is blowing my mind in that show.
Wait, there was one because we asked Danny, but he didn't know. There's one scene.
yeah.
Are you guys in the bathroom or something? And you say, "Have you lost your marbles?" You said marbles in the craziest
I said
way.
marbles.
Yes. Was that just a fuck up, or was that on purpose? We were laughing so hard.
You know what it was? Is marbles wasn't written. And me and Danny, we don't get to improv a lot in the show because a lot of it, there's 8 people in the scene, or you have to really push the story forward. But this time it was just me and Danny, so he was like, let's let it fly. And so we were improvising a lot. And I went to say, I'm supposed to say mind.
Yes.
But I did that in another take. And so I start to say mind.
Yeah.
And I switched it to marbles.
Got it.
Yeah, it was
I
too
love.
good. My estimation was that was real. Like he
Yeah.
switched mid-word, and I'm so glad that's what they
I
put in
love
there.
when we tried to do a lot of that on Workaholics too. Like when people fuck up saying something, especially if they're angry, which people do all the time when they're
Yes.
just speaking. I also had one in Pitch Perfect where I said, instead of saying orchard, I said orchid. And they left it in. I'm like, of course. Every time I fuck up, they just leave it in.
Oh, it's so good.
great.
And you were down in Charleston, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you dig it down there? Are you tempted to move down?
I love it. So
Yeah.
I would love to get a place down there. My girlfriend's like, no, you're not buying a house down there.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's like the people there are so great. The food's awesome.
Yeah.
I like gained 20 pounds when I was down there. That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
that's why we were talking about working out so much at the beginning, because I'm like, I gotta get this off me.
Now, how did you come to be in that show? Were you offered it? Does Danny love you? Did you have to earn it?
Yeah, they offered it to me, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I would have auditioned, but they just wanted to meet me. The only time we met, I called him a bright shooting star.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
So
it
he's
worked.
like, nah, maybe we meet him so we know he's not a psychopath. They wanted me to go to Charleston, so I went to Charleston to meet them. And I walk into a restaurant, and Danny jumps out behind a potted plant and goes, "Boo, scared you, fucker." And I'm like, yep, I'm in. Classic McBride. Yeah, and then we just talked. David Gordon Green was there, a bunch of the writers. So we just had like a dinner together.
Right. How much of the character did you create? How much did you work with Danny with it on? What was that?
Danny's so cool. Like, he's great about casting people that he's confident in their abilities.
Right.
So, like, no real do it this way or do it that way. Like, he really was just like, I love
Do
it.
you.
Yeah, do it.
Right. How about the hairdo?
That Danny wanted. Danny
Okay.
wanted that hair.
It's a great look.
I think it's making me go bald though. Oh, because they have to hot iron my hair to make it. It's like a faux hawk where they spike it straight up. Mm-hmm. They have to hot iron it every time.
Oh yeah, that's killing
like-
your hair for sure.
Yeah, I'm like,
You can. Well, I've had that done, and I'm like, I smell my hair burning. Like,
Yeah.
I can smell it.
thinner right here than
Sure,
and I'm
we all
like
are.
never like lost my hair before.
Right.
And I'm like 35 and I'm like, is this how it goes?
Well-
Do I lose it on
Adult
the right?
diapers are
Yeah,
next.
I know.
They're coming up.
60% of men under 35
right.
are
We have
losing for hims.
Hims for Men.
Yeah.
Hims
Oh,
for
okay,
men.
we'll hook it up.
Yeah,
I'd
we'll
love
get
a
you
discount.
some.
or a code
Dialed
or-
in. Yeah, I'll get you the promo code Dax.
That's right.
Yeah. How many episodes are there in their first season?
9.
Oh, wonderful. So
I
we have
know.
3 more left. So you're definitely doing that. And what else are you up to?
Got a bunch of stuff coming out. I got a movie that I did. It's if Siri like were to turn on you, and it's got all these bugs in it, and it like falls in love with me, and and I get a girlfriend and like tries to sabotage my life.
Oh, so it's like the reverse of
Ooh.
Her.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like comedy Her.
Uh-huh.
So I got that coming out.
What's that called?
That's called
Comedy
Jexy.
Her?
It's called Comedy Her. It's Jexy,
It sounds a lot like
a Comedy Her. And then I'm doing Green Eggs and Ham for Netflix, and that's a big cartoon that I'm doing.
And you play Sam I Am.
I play Sam I Am, yeah. So
Right.
That's pretty fun.
Do you have a voice that you do when you're Sam I Am?
I mean, it's just my voice, but it's up here.
Right.
Yeah, and he's just really excited.
Okay, so I'm horrendous at voiceover. Like,
Oh, really?
Embarrassingly bad, yeah. And I live with someone who's one of the best in the
Sure.
world. And I just can't do it. I've had these, were you in Ice Age?
I was on Ice Age, yeah.
Okay, so when I first kind of like got known for anything, a casting director was like, "We want you in Ice Age." Like, it was mine to lose, I'm telling you, like, they were like, you can't. I'm like, I'm nervous. You can't fuck up. You're in this thing. And then I went and recorded, and they're like, this is not going to go work out. And I just can't do it.
I had a whole movie that, I mean, I think I'm pretty good at voiceover.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of it. But I did a whole movie where I'm the lead of it. It's called Ferdinand the Bull. I do it for a year and a half. I keep going in and doing these recording sessions. They fired my ass and brought in John Cena. Because John Cena's career like got hot right at that point, and they were like, he'd make a better Ferdinand the Bull. But I'm like, it's our voices. It's not our what we look like.
Yeah. Also, have you seen my six-pack on top of my beer belly? There's only
I'm a
one
baby Ferdinand. Yeah,
wow.
so I know.
How
I know
did you take that? How did that feel?
That sucked. I've never been fired from anything, and like I'm not causing any trouble, and I think I do good work, and I'm prepared, and it sucked.
I got fired for the first time last year, and it was quite I had to work through it mentally.
Yeah. Also, it was like, it was going to be the next thing after Mike and Dave, and I'm going to be the lead of it. It's going to be Ferdinand the Bull. Adam Devine is Ferdinand the Bull.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I'm a cartoon. I'm the lead guy in a cartoon. This is my Shrek, and I'm Mike Myers.
Yes.
Is what I'm thinking.
Of course.
It was a much different movie. It was just really, really saccharine. It was so sweet. And my voice has like a raspiness to it.
Sure.
And it has a little bit of an edge to it. So it was hard for me to just be nothing but sweet the whole time.
You might have been miscast out of the gates. Which is not
I think
really
a little bit.
fault.
And I think it was like an uphill battle. I don't think I was like the director's first choice. And so I think the whole time he was like, if only we could get Cena.
Cena would be fucking crushing this shit right now. It's the sweetest voice I've ever heard. Have you heard Cena's voice?
So
it's like
silky
honeydew
smooth.
coming off of a baby's
Those
chin.
pipes.
Okay, well, you have more movies coming out, and then what's next?
And then I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna.
Well, no,
do
you have
next.
2 movies coming out, don't you? You're in post on 2 films, aren't you?
Oh, that one's
Jexy?
Magic Camp. Weirdly, I did this movie for Disney. Right, like literally, I finished Workaholics. We wrapped. We had the wrap party, and then that next Monday, I started work on this Disney movie. So this is a few years ago now. It's still not out.
Okay,
and it's me. It's like a classic Disney, like Kurt Russell movie when he was a kid, and it's like all these kids at a camp, and I'm the camp counselor who doesn't want to be there, and then ends up falling in love with the kids.
Yeah,
and it's like a magic camp, and I'm like this world-class magician who's fallen hard on his luck. And it's fun. It was cute, and I really liked doing it. I like doing like those kids movies.
Yeah.
But these kids are fully grown now.
right. They're going to be promoting the movie on motorcycles and
yeah.
shit.
I mean,
Pulling
they're
up to the
like,
premiere.
they were like all like 12 and 13.
Yeah.
And now they're like 16 years old, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's going to be I'm like, they can't do a red carpet.
Right.
They can't.
Yeah, it'd be really confusing.
Yeah.
Did you learn any magic on that movie?
I learned some like sleight of hand stuff that like immediately I forgot. I was like, for sure, this is going to stick with me and I'm always going to have this card trick. I even went to the improv because I wanted to test it out to see if I could do it in front of a crowd. I did it in front of this crowd. It worked. And Chris Rock came in and was in the audience. He's my favorite stand-up comic of all time. I love the guy. And he follows me and I'm like, oh God. Chris Rock's here. And so I go out to the bar and I leave in like 15 minutes. He just does a quick set and comes out and he goes, Magic Man! and I'm like, I'm not the Magic Man.
I do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
This is weirdly...
Yeah. I never have done magic before. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm an actor prepared for a role.
Yeah, I've been around one person where I was like, I'm just not going to do it. The door's open. I could do it, but I just... and that's Bill Murray. I'm like, I need him to like me in a way that I can't risk finding out. Of course, he doesn't. It's better to not know, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you meet him down in Charleston?
No, never met him.
Because he lives down there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he has a place down there. I think he lives just in the world.
He does. He kind of just wanders from party to party.
And I guess he was there for like a week when we were down there. We stayed on this island, Sullivan's Island, which is right off Charleston. And that's where like we all just rented houses. And it was awesome. We were all like right by the beach and it was so fun. But that's where Bill has a place. And so like there was only like 6 restaurants on the island. So you end up knowing all the servers and bartenders and everyone. And you'd go in and they're like, oh, did you see Bill? He was just in. And I'm like, where? Where's Bill?
Okay, so quickly, Chloe.
Yep.
Are we going to have some children?
She's pregnant. I'll announce
Oh
it
my
here.
God.
No.
Oh my God. It's like,
Triplets.
really?
No. No. I mean, maybe, yeah.
Do you want them?
Yeah, I'd like kids.
I kind of am a children pusher.
Yeah.
People get mad at me.
Yeah,
You
some people don't like
how many
that.
kids you got?
2.
You like them?
I love them. They're so fun. They're so fun. When I have defined myself as an actor or a comedian or a writer or all these things, there was something about it that felt a little shaky.
Sure.
Like, well, ultimately someone has to agree with me that I'm this thing or I'm not this thing. Something about having an identity that is a true one of bedrock of I'm these people's dad and that's my sole purpose has been incredibly liberating on all things professional.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like
that makes
everything, whatever.
It makes things matter less. So you walk into meetings or auditions or whatever, and it's less of a thing.
I got fired from that sitcom, and then I walked in the house and my girls were right there, and I was like, oh, who gives a flying fuck? They don't care if I'm hired or fired from the sitcom.
Yeah.
Well, who cares? And it just immediately, I feel wonderful about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really recommend it.
I think I've had friends that have like loved being a parent out the gate, and then I've had some friends that like the first year or so, especially they were like working so much and the mom was at home quite a bit. And so they just like truly loved the mom more.
Yeah.
And they're like, but then once the kids get a little older and you can talk to them, they're not just a baby who wants their mother.
Right.
So,
well, luckily neither of us are home ever. So they like us equally in our absence.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, well, Adam, you're as lovely in person as you are on the television shows we've come to love you on. You're funny. You've got a six-pack on the outside, which I love.
You're a bright shooting star.
Oh,
go ahead and say that.
Star. All right, well, I adore you, and
thanks, man.
I can't wait for everyone to watch Righteous Gemstones. It's so great. You're so great on it, and I hope you guys do that show for 6 years.
Yeah.
Me too. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, maybe you guys put me on it.
Me too.
Yeah, maybe
We're
put
all
both of
open
us
for
on.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kristen and I were literally immediately like, we have to pitch ourselves as like a Tammy and whatever Wynette. I forget the name.
Yeah.
Tammy Faye Baker and whatever Baker.
Yeah.
And come in as some kind of rival like couple.
I could see you guys being like a super Christian power couple.
Yeah, like coming up from Texas to fuck shit up.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, it's out in the ether now.
It's out there, Danny.
All right, be good.
Cool.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
Rolling down the river. Monica's in a hurry, and there's nothing more fun than to pick at her by making everything slow. And
Okay.
saying, rolling.
I'm not in a hurry.
Oh, who's in a hurry?
You.
Then? Oh, I'm in a hurry. What, I got to pick up my daughter at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to poke this little bear. This little bear's small, but boy, she's tenacious, this little bear. She'll tear you bits from bits.
Brown bear.
She'll tear you limb from limb.
Brown bear are the meanest bears.
They are. They're the biggest. Well, I think polar bears might be a little meaner.
Really?
Well, they're exclusively eating protein, meat. You know what I'm
thought
saying?
brown bears were small but mighty.
No, black bears are the smallest.
Oh.
And then brown bears
it.
are the heaviest. And then polar bears are the tallest.
Okay, this is falling apart.
Your theory.
Yes, because
You're a brown bear.
But then I'm not the biggest.
You're like a teen brown bear.
The teens are smaller?
Well, of course, before they get to full adulthood.
Well, I knew some teens who were huge, so there.
I was a huge teen.
Trying to think if I have any updates. Well, we had Taco Bell today.
I know, second time in 5 days.
Second time in 5 days. Yeah, we said we were going to talk about it last fact check, but we didn't have time.
Oh, right.
So we had.
Let's be dead honest with people. This is pretty embarrassing as far as being opulent.
Uh-huh.
We had a $50 Taco Bell order delivery.
I know, but why was it?
Because I ordered everything. And things that you were on the fence about, I just ordered anyways for you.
Yeah.
We had so many Taco Supremes. This is not a commercial, by the way.
No.
I'll make this very clear. We are in no way receiving any money.
No.
In fact, we're giving these guys money, $50, to the tune of $50. You know what's funny is, Bell is in Europe.
Yep.
Gallivanting around Europe. We share a food order account
Yeah, I know. I knew she was going to have something to say about that.
She hasn't yet, but she at some point will see that I spent $50 at Taco Bell. And this is kind of a pattern when she goes out of town. Remember, I also spent like $30 at McDonald's one night. And she said, who did you have over to have McDonald's? And I said, hun, nobody. She goes, you had 2 Big Mac meals and a 20-piece chicken nugget.
Yikes.
And I was like, I did. If I'm going to do it, I'm going all the way.
In this case, we both had Taco Bell.
We both had Taco Bell, yeah. And I introduced you to the Mexican pizza.
Yep.
Which blew our socks off night one. Mm-hmm. Today it didn't.
But I don't want to say that's not nice.
Right.
So.
But that cheesy gordita crunch.
We didn't like that the first time.
But then you loved it today.
Yeah.
That makes it fun. There's novelty. Like you don't know what will be the best today.
Well, really what happened with the cheesy gordita crunch is I got that and I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm not crazy about it. Then I put it down. Then I started eating something else. And then I was like, I'll just have one. And I just kept having more bites of it.
Right.
Even though I didn't really want it, I wanted it.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I went crazy and I had the Mexican pizza and I think I had 5 or 6 hard taco supremes. I had many of them were Dorito flavor.
Sure.
I mean, boy, did I feel good the next day. As we had completely different reactions to it.
We did. Yes. Bodily reactions.
I don't want to gross anyone out, but I'm just going to use the adjective torrential. That's all. I'm just going to put that on the table and I won't say who or what, but just torrential.
And I did not have anything
torrential.
torrential.
Well, hold on. Now you're exposing who had torrential issues.
Oh, well, that part I'm happy to expose. You had a torrential issue. I did not. I had a great time.
Yeah, you did fine.
I had a great time eliminating that food from my body.
Evacuating. No?
Either.
Okay.
And
Decide
in fact,
later.
there was no smell.
Oh, right.
I have a theory.
You have a weird theory.
Yeah.
I want you to launch it on everyone. Well, first of all, a fun thing to call Taco Bell is taco smell.
Right, but we're talking about the good smell, the smell of the sauces.
Yeah, it smells delicious.
Right, but you're not talking about like taco smell, like the smell after, right?
No, it's just a funny play on words.
Yeah.
But you have a theory. Go ahead. I don't want to steal your theory.
My theory is kind of the more
processed and junky.
Processed, the less smell there is.
The more odorless.
The more odorless. I can say the less smell.
Okay.
The less smell there is.
Stick with less smell.
The less smell there is as it's on its way out.
Uh-huh. Do you know what? Okay. Do you know why I was pushing odorless?
Why?
Because it doesn't have the word smell in it. And like the word smell.
You just decided you wanted to tell a whole story about the word taco smell.
Right, because we're not talking about poop, we're talking about food. So if you say taco smell and you're thinking about food, great. If you use the word smell when talking about duty, then I think you just opt for odorless.
Okay.
That's
your opinion.
That's just my opinion. Yeah.
End of
so
it.
Are you saying if you were to eat just a whole ripe avocado, it would be horrendous?
Not horrendous, but it's gonna be
aromatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's also a
or
little
like
bit of a euphemism.
big smell. I mean, a big smell. a big salad. A big salad
is triggering for you.
It's probably not gonna be great. I don't know.
We're opposites. This is so interesting. So interesting.
I think mine makes the most logical sense, actually.
Yours makes none. If you put stinky stuff in, it should be stinky coming out. A salad doesn't smell stinky.
But it's real food. It's getting like processed in a real way.
Okay.
And so when it comes out, it's real.
Right.
So when the taco smell or the Domino's comes out.
And now we're getting into trouble because.
So anyway, Adam
Devine.
So you said that high protein and low carb diets affect boners.
It affected my boner.
So what it does do, that kind of diet, well, mainly carbs is a really important macronutrient in your body's production of hormones. So it does affect testosterone production. Low carb does.
It limits your testosterone.
Yes.
And that has an impact on your pee-pee.
It can.
Yeah.
It sure can.
So
you're right.
You got to go over to 4 Hims. Get a little ED medicine.
That's right.
Or eat some carbs. I don't know. Your choice.
Yeah,
Dealer's choice.
Eat a breadstick or two.
The specific diet I was on was called glycogen depletion, right? And when I would load on the glycogen, boy, watch out. There was a pink elephant in the room, let's just say. Like
Your
I would eat
penis
all
was
these.
pink?
I would eat all these boxes of Fruity Pebbles. That's how I would reload my glycogen.
Yeah.
And then there was something that we had to address, which was there was a pink elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sure.
Right. There was something like an unavoidable topic.
Kristen, she
Exactly. I'd
described
see-
it as like you just appeared and then
Leapt out of the dark
yeah,
shadows.
with your panties off.
Fully aroused.
Stuck it in her.
Okay, well.
And she was like, "Oh no, I
hell.
didn't want that. Help me."
Oh, jeez. Why'd I marry this person?
So yeah,
Okay, great. He's younger than me, though.
right. So
Although when I did that, I was younger than him.
but maybe he has a lot of testosterone.
I bet he does.
So then it can be lowered, but he still has some level that
Still
everyone's
ample.
different.
Yeah. My father had tragically low testosterone, had to have testosterone replacement therapy. Also trauma,
Yeah.
like accidents, not like, but maybe the other trauma too. But like physical accidents also seem to have some effect on your hormone production later
Really?
in life. Yeah. My father had like 2 DOAs. You know, he was in accidents nonstop. Bad car accidents.
But why? How would it affect your testosterone?
I don't know why it does, but there's some link between that.
Rob, add that to the fact check list.
Yep.
So you're saying that you have no testosterone? I mean, low. I
Yes,
don't think you
yes.
do.
Well, no, I've been tested.
I know, but I just don't think you do.
Right. Okay.
I know you've been tested, and
I'm on testosterone cream.
right. Your levels came back low, so you're on a cream.
I love it.
But I just
I
think
slather
that
it on my
person.
thighs.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's very intimate.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is it like Vicks Vapor Rub?
Yes, it's Vicks Vapor Rubs for your thigh. But imagine at night having to like apply a cream to your inner thigh. I mean, it's
Your inner okay, now
Yeah.
it's become inner thigh.
Absolutely. And I actually,
Do you
when
put it
I
on
put
your
it on,
penis?
well, no, but I think about this. So I put it on my thigh, and then I have to consider, well, my penis is going to hang down and touch my thigh while I sleep because I wear a loose boxer brief. It's the only time I'm not in MeUndies.
All right.
I wear a loose boxer brief to sleep in. And I think, oh, my penis might fall on the side of my thigh.
Yeah.
So I want to start the cream lower than where I think my penis is
Oh,
going to
so you
lie.
started at your knee.
So I start on my calves. And then I start with the bottom of my foot. Yeah, so it is something that I think about. I think, oh, I don't want my testes or my penis to lay on the testosterone cream because I'm not sure that you're supposed to absorb it through your pee-pee or your testicles
Oh.
But
Even though
maybe-
that's where it's heading.
eventually.
Interesting.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to deny my body the joy of converting it all and then sending it back that way
Wow. But yeah, I just am surprised.
because I'm so aggressive.
No, I mean, because you're horny a lot, I feel like.
I don't think I'm horny that much.
Really?
No, in fact, when I talk to
You
friends my
like
age,
everyone.
you've been a part of some of these conversations. We're on a big family trip. There's 5 families, and I'll ask the guys how often they're jerking off. And these guys are jerking off like every day or every couple days or whatever. I'm jerking off like maybe once every 9 days.
Okay.
That seems low to me.
Sure. That's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
that seems low. And I just do want to add as well, when I ran all this by my wife, like, hey, I'm going to get my testosterone checked. Then it came back. It wasn't that my overall numbers were terribly low, but my free testosterone was terribly low because I had this hormone globin agent in my body that attaches to a lot of the testosterone and prevents it from becoming free. And then I had to eat a bunch of seeds and nuts, which I've since done, which lowered that level. All to say, Kristen's like, let me get this straight. You're going to take something that could potentially make you more aggressive. And I said,
right.
we'll monitor it. You can decide. And then I was on it for a few months and she reported back 0 difference. If anything, I'm just in a better mood. My overall optimism was increased.
Interesting.
And not really hornier, unfortunately.
So when you like are flirting, you're not horny then?
I'm not. No.
Interesting.
No. That's different. When I'm flirting with people, by the way, I had this realization the other day on set. I was talking with Lake, and the conclusion is I definitely flirt with men a lot more than women. And if I was being really honest with myself, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because I think she was even going like, have you hooked up with guys? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, really? That kind of surprises me. Which, when she said it, made sense because I talk nonstop about this one guy's body.
You talk, but
Yeah.
but
I can see from her point of view, and I talk about guys' bodies
Sure.
all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's a very logical
Fair
assumption that
question.
I've hooked up with guys.
Yeah.
So I went back to my trailer and I was like, that is interesting because I don't desire to hook up with guys. So why do I like flirting with them so much? And you know what I think I figured out is the stakes are higher. Like if I can get a guy to flirt back with me, it's more of a challenge because we're both straight and it's an awkward situation. So I think like I like the challenge of it.
That's interesting. I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say it's safe. It's just like when married people flirt
with other married people.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's like there's a safety there because there's no real risk of anything actually happening, or not risk, no chance of anything actually happening. You're free to kind of like really go out on a limb.
Well, you're definitely right. That's a huge chunk of it, you're right, is that I'm not nervous that this very empowered guy I'm flirting with is going to feel weird about me making jokes. Yeah. And I have a strong desire to make those jokes, and I don't want to do it to women.
Sure.
So that's part of it. But I definitely think the whole challenge part of it is part as well. I've known a couple people that don't flirt at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the couple people are like some of the most gorgeous people I ever met in my life. And it's so weird when you meet someone that doesn't seem to have that desire for approval. And then I thought it through. I was like, yeah, I guess if you've always had that approval from day one, there's nothing entertaining about it. There's no game to be played.
Yeah.
Because you always are getting it. So what a boring game.
Yeah. That's
true. They can
true.
Safely assume the person already is attracted to them.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So are there versions of the national anthem that are racist?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of stuff out there about the Star Spangled Banner.
The withheld verses, right?
Yeah, there's an extra stanza or something where it's a little racist. I mean, I have it here, but...
Read it.
Okay, I just don't think we'll get it. Well, and also it's like a lot of these articles say you have to look into the author of the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
That's part of why. But okay, so... he wrote a full third stanza decrying the former slaves who are now working for the British Army. It goes like this.
Okay.
What if I started singing?
I would love it.
And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refugee could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That's not the thing I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Because that's kind of innocuous.
Well,
there were slaves then. To say the word slave wasn't.
No, do you understand what that means?
I don't.
Yeah, you
I
don't,
at
and neither
all.
do I.
No,
But
okay.
they're saying that it is negative, and I'm gonna have to believe it because I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah. Okay, wait, hold on. So in this article, it said that stanza. In other words, Key, author, was saying that the blood of all the former slaves and hirelings on the battlefield will wash away the pollution of the British invaders. With Key still bitter that some black soldiers got the best of him a few weeks earlier, the Star-Spangled Banner is as much a patriotic song as it is a diss track to black people who had the audacity to fight for their freedom.
Okay.
So that's what you were talking about?
I guess. But I'm actually talking about that. The national anthem isn't the Star-Spangled Banner, is it?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
The home of the brave?
Oh, say, can you see?
By the dawn's early light?
I sang it at a baseball game.
You did? No.
Yes, I did.
What are you talking about?
Not by myself. My chorus sang it.
Oh, okay. So you know all the words?
Yeah.
I'm murky on some of the middle
I bet
parts.
I really do know all of them if I tried. Say, can you see by the dawn's early light? That's all I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I sang it, I think, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. At least 2 of those years. And one year, so my parents got home from work and we had to drive to the stadium.
Yeah.
And there was so much traffic and I was so annoyed at them.
At your parents?
Of course.
As if they ordered the traffic?
Yeah. And like, why couldn't they just come home early?
Oh.
And then now we're in a rush. Now I'm not going to make it there. Now I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
And it's because of your stupid job.
You owe them a lot of amends.
Nope.
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 I mean, they were nice.
I was giving them
parents.
a lot. I was giving them a lot. I was giving them good grades and a lot of compliments from teachers. Teachers loved me.
I bet they did.
Yeah.
You're an overachiever.
You know what? I bet you anything. We'd have to ask them, but I really do. I bet, knowing them, if they had to do it all over again, they'd pick that version. Then someone who was super, super, super sweet and lovely to them, who to the outside was bad, who didn't have her shit together and. No, you had your shit together, kind of, right?
No, I mean, I was fucking on double final notice, and I got suspended all the time, and I barely graduated high school.
Right.
And I went from being in the math and science club to fucking dropping out of half my classes and skipping. I mean,
yeah.
I got the police were at my house in the morning during the car show. I came home with black eyes all the time because I was fighting. I mean,
yeah, that.
But I was so sweet to my mom.
Yeah.
And I was snuggly with her, and I go on dates with her to the movies and stuff. So
yeah,
I think I would pick my version. I mean, you would pick your version. That's not surprise us, or does it?
Well, I didn't say what I'd pick. I said what they'd pick, and I stand by that. They got what they wanted out of me
in this binary option, where you're either a fuck up. I
don't think you can do both. Come on, I would pick
a naughty nice boy.
I'd pick. God, that's really hard.
Yeah.
It would really stress me out to know that
they were on the wrong path.
And not even on the wrong path, but causing other people problems. That would be very hard for me. I think I probably would rather me being the brunt of whatever the problem was.
Right.
As opposed to other people having to take that on somehow.
Yeah, my teachers bore the brunt of that.
Yeah, see, that would
save
make
my niceness for my mom.
That'd make me very uncomfortable.
And Aaron Weekly.
Yeah.
And whatever girl, I was a terrible boyfriend too.
You were terrible back then?
I was. I mean, I was very nice and loving.
Yeah.
I just was so not loyal. We were sharing about it last night in the AA meeting. Yeah, it was the topic kind of. And it's like, oh, God. It's still kind of a black cloud over me. It's weird. I don't want to, I never wish to excuse my behavior, but I also hope to forgive myself at some point that for whatever reason, I found that impossible.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Why do you think?
Low self-esteem, needing everyone's approval. If I could get it, it was worth whatever was happening. I don't know, maybe sexual abuse. I was over-sexualized. I'm not sure what was going on, but boy, was I was not good at it.
Yeah.
Started in 8th grade. That's the first time I cheated. Horrible. I felt fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Trying to think of my theory on why. Because it doesn't seem like it's because you like someone more.
Nope, that wasn't the case. I was like, I loved these girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, truly. I would have died for them. I would have pushed them out of the way of a train to save them. I would have,
Mm-hmm.
But boy, if I was on spring break, all bets are off.
I wonder if it's like you just have this compartmentalization.
Well, now that's something I've thought about. Post-addiction, I have realized that if you spend a good decade as an addict, you do get really good at building compartments in your head. You just have to for survival, or you'd kill yourself.
Yeah.
And I do think that I'm dangerously good at making compartments in my head for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, but I guess maybe as a kid, because I was checking in and out of environments and I was already probably compartmentalizing.
You built up a skill of compartmentalization because you had to, and then you had that skill, so then it probably bled into this other area, I would guess.
I've also hit you with this theory, right, that I think I was punishing my mom sometimes. Like I think I didn't want my mom to travel. Like I wanted her around more. So then when she was gone, I was pretty naughty. I never got caught. I didn't want to get caught, but I wanted to feel like I had some power in the relationship. Like, well, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. That's the price you're going to pay for not being here. And I think maybe that association just with women in general, maybe, where I was going to punish them if I wasn't getting exactly what selfish Dax wanted, might also be in the mix.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's unsightly.
He said that he went to Orange Coast Community College, and he said that because UCLA was really expensive, which it is. In state, 2019, 2020, it's $11,000, and out of state, $41,000.
$41,000, but $11,000 in state, man, that is a fucking bargain these days. I pray that my daughters want to go to a UC school. I mean, they won't be able to get in, but
we don't know that.
They won't. They're not going to get in one of those schools.
What?
You have to have a fucking 4.03.
You don't know what they're going to have.
All right. You're right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm certainly not going to be pushing them
so
to
you're
study.
Crazy, right?
First of all, they're going to get rid of that legacy bullshit. Is your admission is weighted if you had a parent that went to a school?
Yeah.
That's pretty general across the nation.
Sure.
And that's going to go away as it should.
Yeah.
Because all that is like another piece of privilege. Like, of course, if your parents went to fucking UCLA, odds are you already started with a better shot.
Exactly.
You don't need an extra better shot.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as much as I want them to be able to get into UCLA, I also don't. I don't want some kid to be deprived of going there because I went there. At any rate, I don't think they're going to be 4.1 students. I certainly won't be pushing them to be.
Mm-hmm. But we don't know.
We don't know.
Let them be.
They could do it. They could do it to rebel against me. Wouldn't that be ironic?
Well, don't tell them not to be 4.1 students.
I think I will.
No.
It's not the most important thing. I would way rather they had a social life and they had all these memories and they went on road trips like I did.
It's an incredibly good skill to be disciplined. And when you're in high school, that's the outlet for that.
But I'd rather see them exhibit discipline in writing the things they want to write, in planning a trip and realizing that dream. Like, it's just what you value of how you're exhibiting your discipline.
It's for yourself. It's trying to be the best version of yourself you can be and pushing yourself when it's shitty to do the spelling homework. But then
I want them to push themselves and be disciplined, but I want it to be about the things they're passionate about. And I don't want to just hand them, you should be passionate about history, AP history.
But it's easy to be disciplined about things you love. It's not easy to be disciplined about things you don't want to do. And in life, you're going to encounter things you don't want to do. And you need that ability to be able to get through those.
But I totally disagree because I've over the last 25 years, I've known 1,000 actors in LA and they're pursuing something they love. And the level of discipline is staggering, even when pursuing something they love. Yeah, I think as long as they're disciplined at the thing they're passionate about, I'm stoked.
Great. Okay, so Orange Coast Community College, what I just spoke about, he said is the second biggest community college in the country. He said there's like 50,000 kids that go to school there, and then you said like Notre Dame. So Orange Coast Community College enrolls more than 25,000 students each semester. It's not the biggest in the country. Biggest is Miami-Dade College in Miami.
How many kids go there?
174,000.
Oh my God.
I'm sure a lot of those are online, I would guess.
It's like the size of Minneapolis or something.
I know.
That's crazy.
And then Notre Dame has a total undergraduate enrollment of 8,617.
That's it?
It's hard to get in there. Yeah.
There's only 8,000 kids at Notre Dame?
In total undergraduate enrollment. So there's more kids there. But this is...
So times 4.
Yeah, I mean, people leave. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the Matthew Lillard, Freddie Prinze Jr. movie is Summer Catch.
Summer Catch.
2001 Summer Catch.
What was I saying? Fever Catch. You say catch or catch?
Summer Catch. Well, Summer Catch.
Right?
I think I said catch. Did I?
I think you said
we'll
catch.
have to go back and listen. Maybe.
I think I say catch. Let's play catch. I don't think I say let's play catch. Catch a tiger by his toe.
I think I say catch, yeah.
Yeah.
Summer Catch.
Oh.
But it's catch.
Oh.
Oh. That's all.
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was manageable.
It was more than a few, less than a lot.
More than none, less than a bunch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you.
Love you.
Let's do this again tomorrow.